When you're about to spend a few thousand on a lab incubator, the biggest fear is that you'll end up with a piece of equipment that looks good on paper but falls short when you actually need it for daily cell culture work. I've spent the last few weeks walking through the setup of a few mid-size incubators, comparing the way they heat, how they recover after door openings, and how easy they are to integrate into a typical bench workflow. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The BenchMark Scientific H2505 SureTemp is a 130-liter dual-convection incubator that promises temperature precision up to 75 C and uniformity across the whole chamber. In practice, that claim matters most when you're growing temperature-sensitive cell lines or running enzymatic reactions that can't tolerate a few degrees of drift. The dual-convection system uses two fans placed opposite each other, creating a constant airflow that eliminates the hotspot zones you often see in single-fan designs. On the bench, I observed that after opening the door for a quick sample pull, the temperature bounced back to within 0.2 C of the set point in under a minute, which is noticeably faster than the older incubator we replaced. For labs that frequently access cultures throughout the day, that quick recovery can translate into less stress on the cells and a tighter experimental window. One of the most practical features is the SureCheck temperature logger that comes bundled with the unit, together with its software. Instead of buying a separate data logger, you plug the sensor into the internal outlet, let it record, and then export a CSV that lines up with your experiment log. The software isn't glossy, but it does let you set alarm thresholds and view a history graph without having to open the incubator door. In a real-world scenario, a microbiology team used the logger to document a 48-hour incubation run, caught a brief dip when the lab's HVAC cycled, and corrected it before it affected any results. That kind of built-in audit trail is a small but genuine time saver compared with retrofitting a third-party recorder. The stainless steel chamber feels sturdy and wipes clean, which is a plus for labs that have to follow strict decontamination protocols. Inside, there's a power outlet, so you can run a small heater, a magnetic stir bar, or even a humidifier without needing an extra wall socket. The outlet is recessed and protected by a cover, so you don't worry about accidental spills. Speaking of humidity, the H2505 does not come with an integrated humidification system, so you'll need to add an external humidifier if you need tight control of relative humidity for sensitive plant tissue cultures. That isn't a deal breaker for most cell culture work, but it's a hidden trade-off you should factor into the total cost of ownership. Who should consider this incubator? If your lab routinely handles 100 to 150-liter batches, needs tight temperature control, and values having a logger right out of the box, the SureTemp hits a sweet spot. It's also a solid choice for facilities that already have a separate humidification unit and just need a reliable temperature core. The price point lands in the mid-range for dual convection units, so you're not paying premium for features you won't use, but you still get the core performance that larger, more expensive models advertise. In short, any research group that runs repeated assays where temperature drift could skew data will find a real return on investment. Conversely, you might skip this model if your space is cramped or you're looking for a compact incubator under 50L. The 130L chamber demands a sturdy bench, a dedicated power line, and at least a foot of clearance on all sides for proper airflow. Labs that require CO control should look elsewhere, as the H2505 is a temperature-only incubator. Trying to retrofit a CO tank would be messy and could void the warranty. Finally, if your budget is tighter than a few $1,000s, you may be better served by a single-fan unit with a lower upfront cost, accepting the trade-off of slower temperature recovery. From a day-to-day perspective, the user interface is a simple digital panel with a single knob for set point and a small LCD that shows current temperature, set point, and alarm status. There are no confusing menus, which means new users can get up to speed within a single shift. The door seal feels snug, and the latch has a gentle click that lets you open the door without jerking the chamber, reducing the risk of spilling culture plates. I did notice that the internal fan can generate